VON Radio from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tamia Reed in with your VON Major News package for today, Tuesday, 5th February 2019. In our lead stories nationally, a rift between two senior members of the legal fraternity in St. Kitts and Nevis, and Nevis records its first road fatality for the year. Regionally, 69-year-old medical doctor found dead at UWI Mona campus. Internationally, Apple settles French tax bill. And in sports, ICC under fire for decision to ban Windies skipper Holder. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. A rift has developed between two senior members of the legal profession here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Valston Graham, has confirmed that he suspended prosecutorial services to Magistrate Donna Harris on Monday morning. Mr. Graham said that there was an incident between the Crown Counsel and the magistrate, and she asked him to leave her courtroom. He said he made a decision not to only suspend prosecutorial services, but also court orderlies with immediate effect until further notice.
When I took the decision today to suspend my prosecutors and court orderlies from appearing before Magistrate Harris, it was done with proper justification in my view. But I find it intolerable, the behavior of Magistrate Harris. You cannot insult, ridicule, and denigrate the prosecutors that appear before you. And without justification, I have tolerated long enough. I'm not putting up with it anymore. Until the magistrate gets it right, and until I'm satisfied that my prosecutors are going to be treated with respect, I'm sending no prosecutor back before her. It's as simple as that.
Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Valston Graham, when contacted, Magistrate Harris said she would not comment on the matter. In related news, the St. Kitts and Nevis Bar Association has issued a statement in relation to the matter. It said on Monday, February 4, 2019, a most unfortunate incident occurred concerning a member of the legal profession and Magistrate Donna Harris, which resulted in Her Honor demanding that the member of the legal profession leave the courtroom. This occurrence raises serious issues which go to the heart of the administration of justice in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. The Bar Association is satisfied that the occurrence is by no means an isolated one. Members of the legal profession have repeatedly expressed dissatisfaction with the manner unbecoming of a magistrate in which Magistrate Harris addresses and conducts herself towards lawyers appearing before her. The statement continues, the St. Kitts and Nevis Bar Association wholeheartedly supports the DPP in his decision. It says, while we appreciate that every judicial officer has the prerogative within the law to manage his or her court as he or she deems appropriate, we also recognize that attorneys at law are also officers of the court and that mutual respect between bench and bar is paramount in furthering the proper administration of justice. The statement from the president of the association, Dahlia Joseph Rao, ends by stating that the association is monitoring the situation and trusts that it will be resolved swiftly in the best interest of the rule of law. Nevis recorded its first road fatality for the year when Stuart David of Zion succumbed to his injuries on the scene of an accident earlier today, Tuesday, 5th February 2019. Reports are that David was riding his motorcycle on the island's main road in the area of Chickenstone when he collided with a pickup truck which was heading to the Gingerland area. The motorcycle was heading to Charlestown. The incident is reported to have taken place sometime after 2:30 p.m. One person is in custody assisting police in their investigation. An adult and a juvenile have been charged for the second illegal firearm found this year. Michael Phillips of Molyneux and a 15-year-old juvenile were charged on Monday, February 4th for the offenses of possession of firearm and possession of ammunition. During a stop-and-search operation on the outskirts of Sandy Point, St. Kitts on Friday, February 1st, police found a gunshot and 4 matching cartridge rounds in a vehicle which was occupied by 2 persons. The 2 occupants were taken into police custody. St. Kitts and Nevis will benefit from one of 2 agreements signed by the European Union (EU) and the World Bank's Global Facility for Disaster Reduction and Recovery. The agreement will provide €30.7 million to fund disaster risk management in the Caribbean. The programs will support Caribbean countries to plan for long-term resilience and climate-smart growth strategies and to design and implement innovative policy and investment initiatives. The 2 programs will benefit are the Caribbean Regional Resilience Building Facility, €27.7 million, and the Technical Assistance Program for Disaster Risk Financing and Insurance in Caribbean Overseas Countries and Territories, OCTs, €3 million. The Caribbean Region Resilience Building Facility will benefit St. Kitts and Nevis and 14 other Caribbean countries. It will provide technical assistance to mainstream resilience, leveraging investments to reduce vulnerability and expanding financial protection against disasters. Officials from the University of the West Indies Health Economics Unit Center for Health Economics, based in Trinidad, have expressed their interest in continuing to work with the St. Kitts and Nevis government in the shaping and smooth process of implementation of the country's universal health care coverage. Members from the institutions have officially completed their contractual obligations, having participated in a number of related activities during the design phase. However, economist Charmaine Metifer at the St. Augustine campus said the team welcomes the opportunity for continued engagement. Alistair Edwards, Permanent Secretary responsible for universal health care, praised the UE team for its work over the past year and the commitment to further the cooperation. Having fulfilled their contractual mandate, the UE team is scheduled to leave the Federation this week. Finally, Thanksgiving service on both islands have been organized to commemorate the 41st anniversary of the St. Christopher and Nevis Social Security Fund. The first service will be held at the Resurrection and Life Church, Lower Fines Avenue, on Sunday, February 17th at 9 a.m. on St. Kitts. The date for that service at the St. Paul's Anglican Church here on Nevis will be announced in a subsequent notice. Friday, February 1st, 2019, marked the 41st anniversary of the St. Christopher and Nevis Social Security Fund. Inaugurated in 1978, the fund was set up to offer more meaningful income protection benefits to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Since its inception, the fund has steadily progressed to become a major source of economic stability for both insured persons and for the nation as a whole. The fund, which stands with reserves totaling over $1 billion, has made significant contributions to a wide section of society, including education and housing, to community development support, from sports to health, and more recently to national security. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
and we're here to help. Our knowledgeable staff will work with you to help you achieve the financial success that you or your company needs in a competitive market. We offer solutions that make your banking experience easier, like our savings and checking accounts. Be sure to ask about our youth savers accounts and our Bank of Nevis Gold Club. We offer a wide range of personal loans, including mortgage, land, student, auto, and consumer loans. Have access to your funds instantly with our BeOnline internet banking and our debit and credit cards. We make international banking and investing easy. How's your business? Give it the leverage it really needs by letting the Bank of Nevis assist you with all the necessary funding for all your business expenses. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/The Bank of Nevis.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. The woman whose body was found this morning at the University of the West Indies Mona campus has been identified as 69-year-old medical doctor Judith Rose Spencer. Her identity was confirmed by her daughter. The body was discovered in a pond near the Mona's Visitors Lodge and Conference Center. The incident was reported at approximately 7:45 a.m. The university, in a statement earlier today, said a preliminary assessment of the scene revealed that the body was fully clad and partially submerged. The police said Spencer's body was taken to the morgue, where an autopsy will be conducted to determine the cause of death. In Antigua and Barbuda, a young woman who allegedly forged documents with the hope of being registered as a pharmacist in Antigua and Barbuda has been remanded to prison. Christina Francine Miller is due back in court on April 16th, a date set by Chief Magistrate Joanne Walsh, who dealt with the case after the 29-year-old Casada Gardens woman was charged. Miller is accused of forgery of a Massachusetts College of Pharmacy degree and uttering of a Massachusetts College of Pharmacy degree, knowing same to be forged with intent to defraud. It is alleged she committed the offenses between November 1st and 30th, 2018. Miller, who recently returned to Antigua and Barbuda from Boston, also has 2 charges of forgery of a college-bound high school diploma and uttering of a college-bound high school diploma, knowing same to be forged with intent to defraud. Her alleged crimes were uncovered when officials from the Antigua and Barbuda Pharmacy Council sought to verify the authenticity of the documents she provided to support her claim that she was qualified to be registered as a pharmacist. Finally, in Trinidad and Tobago, Minister of Health Terence Dela Singh has confirmed a 5th death as a result of swine flu. Dela Singh's confirmation 1 week after a woman who was 15 weeks pregnant died from the virus. The minister did not divulge the details of the case, but confirmed the patient fell within the at-risk group. The at-risk groups are children aged 6 months to 5 years, pregnant women, persons over 65, persons with chronic medical conditions such as diabetes, and persons with chronic respiratory illnesses. Dela Singh said apart from the 5 confirmed deaths, there were other fatalities which were suspected to have been caused by H1N1. However, these cases are still unconfirmed as blood samples have been sent for testing. The Health Ministry also confirmed in a release yesterday that 20,000 influenza vaccine arrived for distribution to public health facilities across Trinidad and Tobago. The additional shots were received through the Pan American Health Organization and had been ordered after reported shortages of vaccine in South Trinidad. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Apple has reached a deal with France to pay back more than a decade's worth of taxes. French media said the company settled the case last December, handing over nearly $600 million. Apple said it always operated in line with local laws. More in this report from the BBC's Jonte Blue.
National tax systems have had huge difficulty dealing with the international technology and online giants which have emerged in recent years. Many have been able to massively increase sales across Europe while arranging their accounts so that any profits are made in low-tax economies like Ireland. France has been leading a fight back, and this deal follows one with Amazon late last year. France believes the long-term solution is an EU-wide tax on such companies, but it's likely to face opposition, not least from countries like Ireland.
A peace deal between the government of the Central African Republic, CAR, and 14 rebel groups have been struck after talks in Sudan, officials say. The deal was announced by the UN mission in CAR, known as MINUSCA, and the African Union, AU, which both sponsored the talks in Khartoum. The BBC's Will Ross reports.
There's great hope that this deal will bring peace to the Central African Republic, a desperately poor country where for the last 6 years conflict has caused immense suffering. As rival militias have fought for power, the population has been stuck in the middle and more than 1 million people have been forced from their homes. But so far the detail of the agreement has not been made public. It's not clear if there will be an amnesty for rebels who've committed appalling atrocities. The government has said there'd be no impunity for the crimes, but it seems unlikely that the deal will stick if the rebels feel they're in danger of being locked up.
World News from
10 people, including a baby, have died in a fire at an 8-story building in southwestern Paris, fire service officials say. More than 30 people, including 6 firefighters, were injured. 1 person is in a serious condition. 50 people were evacuated by ladders from the blaze in the upmarket 16th arrondissement. The fire started on the 2nd floor and spread across the 1970s building on Eglander Street shortly after 1, forcing some residents to scramble onto nearby top rooftops to escape the flames and smoke. About 250 firefighters were deployed to the scene, helping to rescue those trapped on the roofs. Pictures shows flames coming from the top floor windows and firefighters in breathing apparatus scaling ladders to reach residents. The fire was brought under control after a 5-hour operation, but a fire service spokesman told the AFP news agency the death toll could still increase. The death of a Canadian entrepreneur has left a huge stash of cryptocurrencies locked off from the people who own them. Quadriga, Canadian's biggest cryptocurrency exchange, said it's unable to gain access to 145 million of Bitcoin and other digital assets from Gerald Cotten. Its 30-year-old CEO and co-founder died of complications arising from Crohn's disease while traveling in India. Many of the digital currencies held by Quadriga are stored offline in accounts known as cold wallets, a way of protecting them from hackers. Cotten appears to have been the only person with access to the wallets, according to court documents cited by Canadian media and posted online by cryptocurrency news site CoinDesk. The unusual case highlights the risk investors face looking after their assets in the thinly regulated industry. Cotten's death has plunged Quadriga into crisis and left it struggling to figure out how to refund more than 100,000 of its users. Cotten's widow, Jennifer Robertson, said in the affidavit posted online that the laptop that Cotten used to run the currency exchange is encrypted. Finally, a court in Zimbabwe has convicted a popular self-styled prophet of fraud and fined him $700 for falsely claiming he had a herbal cure for HIV and AIDS. Walter Magaya earlier pleaded guilty to contravening the Medicines Control Act by selling an unapproved drug. Police arrested him in November and seized a herbal drug which he said could cure people who had HIV and AIDS. Zimbabwe has the 6th highest HIV prevalence rate in sub-Saharan Africa. About 1.3 million people were living with HIV, according to UN data compiled in 2016. The 35-year-old Magaya is among a group of young, brash and flashy religious figures who have emerged during Zimbabwe's economic crisis, attracting a huge number of followers with promises of miracle healing and miracle money. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Most of us spend the better part of each weekday at the workplace. So why not make your office environment the kind of setting that helps you function at your personal best by outfitting it with top quality furniture, high-end photocopiers, printers, versatile office supplies, and the latest technology. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at the TDC Business Center are happy to provide you with personalized service to help you create an office space that's the total package. TDC Business Center, providing solutions that work.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. Test legend Shane Warne has led a chorus of international criticism over the International Cricket Council's ICC decision to impose a one-match ban on West Indies captain Jason Holder for a slow over rate in the just concluded second test in Antigua. The ICC announced yesterday that West Indies has been 2 overs short of their required quota during the contest at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, which West Indies won emphatically by 10 wickets with 2 days to spare. Holder, as captain, was fined 40% of his match fee, double that of his players, and slapped with a ban, as the breach was the second for the West Indies in the last 12 months. He will now miss the final test starting next weekend in St. Lucia. Former England captain Michael Vaughan also slammed the ICC's decision as bonkers, arguing the fact the match lasted less than 3 days. This made the overrate breach irrelevant. Prominent commentator Mike Haseman, meanwhile, called for a review of the controversial ICC rule. Another former England captain, Mike Atherton, who is covering the 3-test series as a pundit for Sky Sports, called the ban ridiculous. The Guyana Jaguars lead the points table after round 6 of the West Indies Cricket Championship with 92 points. They are followed by the Windward Islands 69, the Leeward Island Hurricanes 64, and Barbados Pride 54 points. Jamaica Scorpions on 51 and Trinidad and Tobago Red Force on 50 points rounds off the table. The 7th round of matches begin on February 7, 2019. St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, the Caribbean Premier League franchise, has been sold to Hong Kong-based company City Sports. No specific reason for the change in ownership was stated in the CPL release that announced it. The release quoted former owner Mr. Uday Nayak as saying, "We feel we have taken the Patriots as far as we can, and it is time for us to hand it over to more experienced hands. We are delighted to have found new owners like City Sports who have a history of investing in cricket and want to take the franchise forward." City Sports has also bought Bloem City Blazers, one of the franchises in Cricket South Africa's Bin Global T20 League. Finally, ex-Manchester United boss Jose Mourinho has agreed a prison term in Spain for tax fraud but will not go to jail. A 1-year prison sentence will instead be exchanged for a fine of €182,500. That will be added to a separate fine of €2 million. Spain really enforces sentences of less than 2 years for non-violent or first-time offenders. He was accused of owing euro 3.3 million to Spanish tax authorities from his time managing Real Madrid in 2011-2012. Prosecutors said he had created offshore companies to manage his image rights and hide the earnings from tax officials. Image rights cover the use of a person's likeness, voice, signature, and can be very lucrative for footballers and managers. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back. Another local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight partly cloudy with a 30% or low chance of showers. Weather tomorrow cloudy with a 70% or high chance of showers. Winds southeast at 7 to 19 kilometers per hour or 4 to 10 knots. Some lighter or calm spells are possible overnight. Seas 1 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet. And sunrise tomorrow is at 6:41 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Tuesday, 5th February 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, a rift between two senior members of the legal fraternity in St. Kitts and Nevis. And Nevis records its first road fatality for the year. Regionally, 69-year-old medical doctor found dead at UWI Mona campus. Internationally, Apple settles French tax bill. And in sports, ICC under fire for decision to ban Windies skipper Holder. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, wishing you a pleasant evening.